Hello everybody, how are we doing? I see that the chat's chatting already today. Can you let me know about microphone volumes, please? I've been doing a bit of tinkering, so I don't know how... What is that? I don't think that belongs there. Does that belong that way? No. No, okay. I'll just give it a... What if we just like... I think that belongs on that side. I'll talk it. Anyway, hi everyone, how are we all doing? I hope everyone is well. Who have we got? We've got Thea and Cal. Hello, you two. Hi, Jules. I hope you're good too. Nice to see you. And we've got Miri. Pink order hand to Miri too. Oh, what are we working on? Cardboard. Ooh, Angela Calder. Hello, Angela. Nice to see you. Oh, darling, where have you been hiding? It's lovely to have you. First one of these I've been able to catch in a while, as I'm usually working. You have a week off. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time out to come and hang out in this stream. So nice, so nice. Love it when we see these faces we haven't seen for a wee bit. And we've got Susan as well. Hi Susan, how are you doing? Do you think Jim has been accosted by a hungry farmer? Well, funnily enough... Funny you should say that. Yeah, there's been a bit of organising going on. The thing that's actually delayed me a little bit today was Jock deciding whether he wanted to go out for a pee or not. He did decide to go eventually, but he took his sweet time deciding that that's what he was doing. And we've got Nye as well. Were your ears burning, Nye? We were talking about you. We were talking about you in one of the other streams. You had a fellow Brazilian in the chat, and I happened to mention your name, obviously, because you're one of our few Brazilians. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Jan's here as well. Got told 12 minutes ago it was live. All is fine as with the sound. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, I'll keep my recap short today. I realised that the last time that we did the WIP Wednesday, I spent ages talking about nothing. So yeah, like generally good run in this week. Good stuff. Everyone's happy. I had a belter of a run this morning. and it took a huge chunk off my 5 kilometre trail run time, 47 seconds, which is a lot for 5 kilometres. So don't know what happened, don't know how it happened. Had a stinker of a run yesterday though. I might as well have never run in my life yesterday, which nearly made me not go out this morning, but I managed to talk myself into it, and I'm so glad that I did. So the fitness and speedy improvements are coming. Definitely still not speedy, but speedier than I was, which is great. So feeling pretty good. For once in my life, my body feels quite good as well. Wee bit stiff from yoga on Monday, but not too bad. So all of that's going really well. My personal win for the week is I weighed myself on Monday, and I am now officially out of the obese BMI category. I am now simply overweight, which is delightful. BMI in the general terms of things, we've talked about this a lot in these streams, it really doesn't mean anything on its own, but given that my BMI was pushing 40 when I first decided that enough was enough, getting under 30, which is the baseline for being obese rather than overweight, I am now in the 29s. It's just a lovely wee milestone, so I'm really happy. It's another step in the right direction, literally and figuratively as well. So yeah, all good. Hi Europa, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I think, I don't know, I don't know whether it was the Saturday stream just past or the previous Wednesday. The person that was in it's Lucy Fox Arts. But in fact, it was last Wednesday because we talked a lot about lineage and feet and things. That's long and involved story, but yeah. So if you want to catch up on that, you can do. So yeah, really happy with that. In more interesting terms, so art terms, my doodle hour hasn't been going perfectly. It's not been a doodle hour, and there's been a day or two where I haven't. We've hit harvest now. We are now officially harvesting, which is just basically my living nightmare for the next 2 months. But it is what it is. So have done a little bit, and I'm trying to keep that up as regularly as possible. So it's going fairly well. It's not disastrous, but it's not as good as it could be. But continuing to work on that and just take a little time every day to art for myself and just go wherever my little fancy takes me. So that's that. Other news, I have been in touch with the wholesaler. There's been great discussions about the new Polychromos colours that are coming out very soon. So I've had a chat with, because the company that I was buying them from before, the Polychromos open stock pencils, they have gone out of business, and some of the larger wholesalers aren't really suitable for the size of the cave business, because I am obviously just me and kind of do this part-time. But I have found a supplier, and they will be stocking the new colours, and as far as I know at this point, they are only available in the tin of 20. I don't know if they're stocking them open stock at this point. They probably will eventually because they've got all the other colours. So I am going to do a pre-order situation for the tin of 20, and I will have more details of that in the next week or so. So I'll post them everywhere. I'll post them on the socials. I'll post them on the posts tab on YouTube as well. And I will also talk about them at the start of any videos and live streams that we do for the next week or so, and let you know the finer details of what is going to be involved. As far as I know, they haven't given me a solid release date yet, but they will be available in August. So I would imagine if I put them up for pre-order in the next week or so, that they will be with you at some point in August. And the more information I get on that, the more I will share with everyone. So I am hoping to be able to provide them at a competitive price. I know that there are some websites and retailers within the UK that have posted up their prices already, so I am hoping to be able to give you them at a very competitive price, but obviously still make some money for the cave as well, because we do need it. That's the aim of the game. The shop's been really busy, which is really unusual for this time of year. Normally July and August are my quietest months for the stash shop, and for some reason this year it's been busier. It's not mega busy, but it's, you know, literally in years gone past it's just died a death in July. So that's quite nice. It's kept me busy as well. So that's really good. So I'm hoping that'll be quite nice as well if you know, we get the pre-orders going for the pencils. I will be stocking a couple of tins in the stash shop as well. You won't exclusively have to pre-order them. There will be stock, but it will be limited stock that will sit on literally on the shelf in the shop. So don't feel like you have to pre-order. There will be some available alongside that as well. I appreciate that not everyone can just drop the money for new pencils whenever they feel like it, but they will be there. Yeah, okay, so other stuff. After the stream, I will be putting up a poll on the YouTube channel, and it's for the content of the Friday night chill stream, which is next week. So there'll be no Wednesday stream next week because we'll be seeing you all on Friday. So I'm going to put up a couple of options for what you want to see in that stream on Friday night. It's going to be quite chilled out. It's going to be quite relaxed. I'm not putting an end time on it, but at the latest it'll finish at 9 o'clock because that's when I feed my doggos. So we've got lots of room for manoeuvre, and it is just going to be really relaxed, and we will do whatever takes the fancy of the cavers. So we'll be going for that. The other thing that's kind of popped into my head, I'll probably wait until after the pre-order situation with the Polychromos. I would like to open up, I don't want to say a competition, but it's very obvious to me when we do these Wednesday streams in particular, you guys are full of ideas. Obviously, you're all creative people, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But one of the things that we haven't done anything with is the thumbnail and the weight page for the Work in Progress Wednesday streams. So this is what comes up when you guys are waiting, obviously. And I think it would be nice to design a thumbnail. I'll just call it the thumbnail because that's what goes in the front of the video, you know, all that kind of stuff. It would be really nice to design a Work in Progress Wednesday title screen, and I think I would like to open that up to you guys and give you a chance to get your creative juices flowing and make something pretty. And we would pick the one that we like the best. It would be used for the stream, and whichever creator gets picked, we could do either a little video, you know, like maybe with a wee bit of an interview or just some information, show some artwork, that kind of thing, to thank the creator. And obviously when it's used in future live streams, there would be credits along the bottom for Instagram or websites or whatever it is you want to use. So I would really like to do that. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that too. If you'd like to throw your hat into the ring and have a go at designing something for this cover page of WIP Wednesdays. They've said it'll just be in the tin for release. Well, that was the information I was given, but I was thinking more like the actual supplier that I'm using, because I haven't used them very much, Mary. I used them once or twice before, but it was like one-off kind of things. I would assume that in due course they will come into mainstream and open stock. Jules has already ordered hers from supplier of Derwent pencils. It wouldn't be called pens, would it? Because I know that they're already up and going. How about an amalgamation of your stickers and one that's just getting drawn up halfway? Well, Jules, if you want to have a bash at that, then you could absolutely do that. Can they be animated? Yes. You don't have time to draw up. Okay, fair comment, fair comment. No, I think that's something I'd like to open up to you guys. And again, in the spirit of the cave community, we do have a very good community, and I feel like, you know, maybe we should showcase more of what you guys can do, not just what I'm farting about with in these streams. Would there be parameters for the piece, like the cave colour or style or something? I think the only parameters that I would have is they do have to be a certain dimension, and it's so that it fits nicely on the screen and in the thumbnail. But that is, as long as you leave a border round about of like whatever the content is, it's easy for me to expand or crop or whatever. And I think the colour cave pencil logo, I think that's probably something that should feature, but apart from that I don't think I've got any parameters. Open to interpretation. Mine's from Cult Pens. They emailed me and you succumbed. Well, that's fair enough, Mary. I mean, this has obviously been quite a sort of not last minute, but an undecided thing for me, because the issue that I have with things like the polychromos pencils is the bigger suppliers and the wholesalers, they want you to buy things in huge quantities, and I just don't have the capacity for that. I can't take 1,000 units of anything, so I have to sort of pick and choose, and it's one of the reasons that I use Sea White of Brighton as much as I do, because they have no minimum for anything. You do pay much higher like postage costs if it's a tiny order, and if your order's over a certain amount, then it's like the free courier service. So but Sea White generally are fab to deal with. Like they're excellent. Their customer service is great, and you'll know I'm a big fan of their products. So but yeah, I'm really glad that I'm able to do this, because we use the polychromos all the time here. I know you guys are big fans, and it's something that very much when I'm stocking things in the shop, unless it's seconds that I've been gifted, I tend not to stock things that I don't use myself. I like to have things that I have faith in, and the new set of polychromos, I mean, there hasn't been new polychromos colours for like ever, so I feel that this is something that, like, yeah, it really, if anything was going to be a new product in the stash shop, it should really be these pencils. So if I can spread the love to the rest of you, save you a few pennies here and there, and you guys are happy to support the cave, which I always appreciate, then it's absolutely worth its go time. And obviously I'm going to get a set for myself as well. I think I said. So yeah, that's where we're up to. That's everything for now. So you can bear all that good stuff in mind. In terms of what we're going today, I did want to ask the question, do you guys want me to carry on with the fairy mug, or do you want to do something else? I'm aware that we've been at it for a couple of Wednesdays now, and I don't want you getting bored or feeling like it's getting kind of samey. I've got a few other bits and pieces that we could do. Obviously the paints and everything are like, I've got all the acrylic paint and everything here, for the mug. But I've also got the ink house sitting here. I kind of fancied maybe starting another page, getting the ink tents out, because I haven't done that for a while. And if I just pop this, let me pop you into this view. We've got Charlie Cheetah. I thought that might be quite fun for a wee change. He's races to secure his favourite chair, so that would be an option. I'm also quite keen on maybe doing something in the Book of Pasta with some coloured pencils. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, I would love to hear it. I am literally neutral. I would be happy to do any of those three things. So yeah, just let me know, and we can just take it as it comes today. We can have a chilled out afternoon. Knives Out the Loop. Are the new colours out already? Apparently people have got sets to show off, like they are marketing them, and they're for some reason Australia have got them, but in the UK we're not getting them until August. Jules loves them polychromos because you can drop them and they don't break. Ah. Mary says yes to Ink House. Charlie Cheetah looks fun. Any advance? Pasta would just be more... Okay, so it's a no for pasta so far, but maybe Charlie Cheetah. Hi Maxie, how are you? Okay, I think we might be going for Charlie Cheetah. Okay, have to change my setup a wee bit here, but that's fine. I do have everything kind of to hand. I'll need to go and get my my Inktense pencils, which is fine. The other really exciting thing, and this Jan in particular, we were talking about iced tea. I got the Yorkshire Tea peach iced tea. I've got a thing specifically for peach iced tea. And excuse me, Thea and I talked about it a wee bit as well. So this is peach and raspberry flavour. Normally for peach iced tea it's Lipton, which I don't rate at all. I mean, it's okay, but it's not great. This is marginally nicer, but it's extremely expensive. So as far as I'm concerned, I had to buy a box of 12 of these. That was the only way I could get them. It is nicer, but it's not really worth the exorbitant amount of money I paid for them. So I'm a drink them anyway. I mean, it is refreshing, it's lovely. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more from Yorkshire tea, because that's the brand of like actual tea that I drink. It's not terrible though. I have decided to bite the bullet, and I have ordered from it's a UK company that stock French products, and apparently fused tea is French. So I have the peach and hibiscus fused tea coming, which you can get in Italy, which is where I knew it from, and it's just like another level compared to the other ones. But I was really, really excited and surprised to find it when I went to Malta a couple of years ago. And if you think about it, Malta's not far from Sicily, so that I think that's just like a natural migration. It's so refreshing. It tastes lovely. So the kind of money that I've paid for these Yorkshire tea ones, it's similar money for the fused tea. So I've ordered that, so that's going to be here on Saturday, and I'm super excited about that because I love peach iced tea. It's my favourite thing. It's so good. You don't usually like iced tea, Benny? That's funny. Sainsbury's is the only place they're being sold in single cans. I don't have a Sainsbury's near me. I would have to go to into Edinburgh. Um, it's really expensive though. It's just, yeah, no, like it's good, but it's not that good. Right, I'm just gonna grab my Inktense pencils. Excuse me. Get the big set on the go. I'm like, where's my pencil sharpener? But I think it's in the little Swedish tin mug here. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I've kind of given up on today, I was supposed to dye my hair. Um, we're back to the accidental mermaid colours. You can see this bit at the front's like turquoise coloured. And it's actually very pale now, and I'm still very purple underneath. I don't know how well you can see that in the light. So I'm every shade from purple through to turquoise and back, but it actually looks okay. But I just couldn't be bothered this morning after my run and everything, and harvest stuff and all the rest of it. I was like, I don't think I've got the energy to squeeze this in today. But I am definitely sticking with this colour because the fact that it fades out to blue and then turquoise, just it's good. Usually when you use vibrant colours like this, which I'm sure some of you are perfectly aware because I know some of you like to dye your hair in funky colours, it just looks a bit crap when it fades out. But this is working beautifully. But the sun, again, just out running and stuff, it's absolutely nuking the colour. Like I'm less than 2 weeks and it's fading out, and it doesn't matter what I do to try and protect it. I think as well though, see sweat from when I'm running because I've always got it like pinned up, and I think the sweat and heat from my scalp is like making it worse because it is this section that I pull back, and just the very very tips, that's what's fading out because I'm still really purple underneath. And I don't think I can get away from it at this time of year, so unless I literally want to dye my hair like once a week, which we're not doing, I'm just going to embrace the accidental mermaids. But yeah, it seems to be working for me, like happy accidents and all that. Righty McCoho. I have lots of loose pencils in here. This is quite concerning. I've obviously never put these back. It's fine, I'll be alright. This is a monster pencil case, so I'm just going to put it off to the side. Hilariously, I can't get it from Harrogate Sainsbury's, which is Yorkshire tea based. Oh, the irony. Cal's got a new washing line, perfect at this time of the year. Would I share the brand? The brand of hair colour, Jules? Or the brand of something else? Can you be a little bit more specific? Right, Charlie, let's be having you. I'm just going to get a wee clip as well to pin this page down. I might need to get a bigger one. Yeah, that's not going to do the doing. Hang on a wee second. Oh, I've got this little... Oh, so cute. I forgot about that one. Yeah, better. Much better. Schwarzkopf live drops or something that might help you. Add it to your usual conditioner. I actually put the hair colour in my shampoo. I don't use conditioner in my hair at all, for various reasons. The shampoo that I use has got oil in it though. That's part of the reason. If I use conditioner, see, because all of my hair isn't bleached, like my natural hair is quite oily at the roots, and if I put conditioner even just on the ends, it doesn't do. Yeah, the hair colour, the one that I use is Arctic Fox Purple AF. There's two different versions though. The UK version is different to the US version, and it's just because of what's allowed in the product. The UK one, the one that I can get the US one, but the UK one fades out to blue, so it's a blue based purple, whereas the US version fades out to like a pinky purple. Which I found really interesting as well, but obviously the blue works for me because that's the colour that my hair was before. Jan's got Whittard's peach tea, we don't do cold tea. Those live in your hair for a long time. Interesting. Cal used the live drops only lasted 2 washes. Is that a hamster in the other chair? Yeah, no, it's Huxley the hedgehog. Do you want me to zoom in a wee bit, Jan? Like, he's freaking adorable. See, when I see him like this, you just know that he would be friends with Mildred. Look at him, isn't he? He's freaking adorable. Huxley the hedgehog sits in the corner on a cushion after a previous crowd surfing incident ended badly. I love that they've got boots on the legs of the chairs as well in that one. Okay, right. Let's see what we can do with the rather regal Charlie sitting here. I want to start with his coat colour. So I'm just picking this, like literally just plucking this out there. So I've got the Sicilian yellow here. If you want the best seat in the house, you have to move the hedgehog. Interesting, they came highly recommended to me, but I haven't been able to find the right colour match. Is this the drops that you're talking about? Sorry, I'm very disjointed in keeping up here. I'm just going to grab my water brushes. They might need filled up. There we go. They are good. I deliberately didn't put too much in, wanted a softer lilac. Yeah, no, I think I just have to be at peace with the fact, because I've tried quite a lot of things, like I've tried heat protector spray. I've actually tried putting heat protector spray in my hair before I go for a run. Because that's one of the things that they tell you with the vibrant colours is to wash your hair as cool as possible and try not to expose it to heat because it will fade it quicker. And obviously there's a lot of heat that comes off my head when I run. It didn't make any difference, honestly. It's just one of those things. But as I say, I feel like I've found a happy medium in that when it fades out, it almost looks intentional. It's not like I have like specific, I think if it was just these bits at the front that are like pulled back when I'm running, and I just had like a faded bit and the rest of it was purple, I think it obviously wouldn't look as good. But the fact that my ends get a bit fried as well, because they're very pale as well, like they're more blue than purple, so it makes it look as if it's almost intentional. So it makes the upkeep less intensive. So I've just had a notification on my watch that Jan has liked my run on Garmin. So Jan and I are linked together on Garmin, and she's liked my run from yesterday, which was my absolute stinker of a run, which I titled "Load of Bollocks Nothing Run," because that's exactly what it was. Say yesterday, I might as well have never run a day in my life yesterday. It was atrocious, but it's very important to remember that we are organic matter and we are not machines, and sometimes the stars just don't align. You're not going to get a perfect run every time, and the trick is not to dwell on it. And it's the same with any sort of exercise. Like if you're trying to improve with any kind of sport or exercise, or in fact it applies to anything really, doesn't it? You can't expect to be good every single time. It's just like sometimes you get up out of bed and you're just like, ah. But yeah, yesterday was quite something. I was not best pleased. The last time Cal had a vibrant colour, I had to get it cut out. Me and my hairdresser have a long-standing joke about a shame bell. Damn Woman still added the steps though. I don't do it on purpose, Janet. Like, it does it automatically. I can't undo it. I think it's wrong that the steps that you do in a run are counted in your daily step count. I think it should be separate. But Garmin just does it automatically. If there's a way to turn it off, I don't know how or what it is. But they do, they wait until the end of the day to calculate how many calories that you've actually burned from your steps versus your run. So you get the amount that you've burned from the run, and obviously it's counted the number of steps. Jock streaming. I don't know if you can hear that or not. He's just adorable. Like, Jock's still my favourite thing ever. I managed to upset my Tesco driver today as well. I get my grocery shopping delivered on a Wednesday, a bit earlier in the day, and it's a driver that I've seen once or twice, but he's not like one of my regular drivers. And Pip was shut in the utility, but Jock was asleep. So in the process of getting out all the shopping and everything, he wandered through. So the driver started talking to him, and I was just saying that because he's like, oh, he's obviously a fair age. I'm like, yes, he is. So I was telling him he's just had his birthday. He's 14. And we were talking about just keeping dogs well and healthy for as long as possible. And he started to tell me that he had his wee dog put down like not that long ago, and he started to get quite upset, and I felt terrible. Like, it was actually borderline uncomfortable because he was like visibly upset. I was like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have started talking about that. But it was just like a natural like conversation progression. But he kind of like scuttled away, and I was like, have a good day. So obviously still a thing for him, but he was telling me that him and his wife used to live in South Africa, and they brought the dog over with them when they moved. And he said he was my best boy, and I'm like, oh, Jock's my best boy too. And I was like, oh, and then I felt really bad for upsetting him. I was like, oh God, was there something I could have said differently, or anyway. So I hope he had a better day after left. But like that, he didn't tell me specifically, but I got gathered that it was quite recent. So I was telling him about Woo, which was our old Jack Russell, having her put down as well. She was 17. So it was just kind of general chit chat. It wasn't anything heavy. We were just talking about dogs generally. But I was like, oh bless him, I just got really upset. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's funny, Cal, because I'm waiting for the day, and it's going to happen at some point. Because nearly all of the delivery drivers I get, they kind of take the huff if I shut the dogs away. Like, they're like, where the hell's the dogs? And I'm waiting for the day that Jock's not here and one of them asks where Jock is. Yeah. Right, okay, I'm moving on to Sienna Gold here. Not really bothered about the actual technical placement of cheetah colours. Just want to make it pretty. But I feel if I get enough, it helps if it's in shot. I feel if I get enough pencil down here, we can blend with our water brush, which is nice. I know that cheetahs can be quite pale. They're not particularly orangey animals, but we want some interesting bits to look at, and we want some depth to the fur. Because what I was thinking here as well is with this, that we've got quite a bit of texture within the line work anyway, but if I activate this and blend it all together, I can then go in with a really sharp pencil, and we can maybe add some little extra flicky hairy bits. Hi Pam, when did you sneak in? I didn't see you come in. Have you been here all this time? I did say to him, I was like, I'm really sorry, like it is really hard, we've been through it a lot, and I'm so sorry to hear that you've lost your dog. I was like, he's such a nice man as well, like he's so polite. I have to say, like all of my delivery drivers, because we tend to get them on a rotation, so you don't see like one or two of them for maybe like 8 or 9 weeks, and then they come back round. So it's just the way that they change the rota out. But I've been using the same supermarket since we moved, and I still see the delivery driver that I got the very first time. He still works there. So they're all very familiar with the dogs, and one of the things that makes it quite nice and quite interesting is that when they have a rural route, so the supermarket that I use, they service the outskirts of Edinburgh as well, which includes some of the built up areas. So if they get an Edinburgh run, they have lots of deliveries back to back because they're usually going from like flat to flat, like maybe along the same street. So they might have 10 deliveries in the same street. But when they come rurally, they have less drops to do in the same shift because there's usually quite a bit of driving. But what they all find is that they end up with this extra time and they've got maybe half an hour until their next drop. So they have time to stand and chat on the doorstep, and quite a few of them are happy to do that. And I'm also happy to do that. Because I don't see a lot of people, in a day. So you get chatting to people. But this little man, he's lovely, like he's absolutely lovely. He dropped our shopping off on Christmas Eve, and he was in like full Santa get up. And he wears these like round glasses anyway, so he kind of looks Santa. He's a bit too thin to be a Santa, but he had like a full Santa suit and the beard on, but he still had like his supermarket badge on with his name and everything on. It was amazing. So he's lovely. He's really nice. And we offered him all sorts of stuff, and he wouldn't take anything because they're not supposed to take anything. And I realised that he hadn't locked his van, so I ran out and put mince pies on his passenger seat and shut the door and ran back in. Ah. Given the scarf and the jaunty angle of the hat, I wouldn't be surprised if he added some eyeliner and a bit of fur glitter. I love that take. I'm in a field at Harleywood House, so impressed I got in. Indeed. Indeed, Pam. Well, it's lovely to have you. Oh, Harewood House. Sorry, beg your pardon. Do you ever have trouble with subs on your shopping? Not too bad. It's usually this item is unavailable, and you don't get a substitution. I get a lot of that. Got lettuce instead of a grated carrot once. That's funny. I've heard some really funny ones actually. I've never had anything like completely outrageous. Apart from lemon juice. I wanted lemon juice, like that you would buy in a bottle, and you would think that maybe a substitute for lemon juice might be actual lemons. No, I got lemon antibacterial wipes instead of lemon juice. I'm like, yep, super helpful because we can completely ingest that and everything's going to be fine. So just from memory, I know that cheetahs tend to have a paler patch down here and down here, and as with most mammals, if there's the palest part, it's usually the belly and the insides of the legs. Jock has this here, being a tricolour collie. He's white in here and then he's dark colours on the outside. So let's follow that logic. I feel like I can get away with a lot more of this. What did we say this was? Sienna gold on these folded parts of the legs. And what that'll do is give us contrast to show that this is, is much paler. I'm not regretting my colour choices either, considering they were just done on a whim there. Not yet, anyway. I want to make sure I get plenty of pencil down here, though. I want this to be quite rich. My sister ordered nectarines and got a broccoli. Cat food instead of baby milk. Yeah, that's super helpful. Super helpful. Now, I kind of thought that was his tail for a minute there, but it looks like a swag off the chair. Like what is that? Oh no, it's a scarf. Okay, come on, Jim. Where's his tail? Cheetahs have got tails. They've they've got long tails. Where's his tail? It's nowhere to. He must be sitting on it. Am I missing? No, his tail's not there. So do we think that Charlie Cheetah's a bit of a charmer, just with his jaunty hat and whatnot? Okay, I think the outsides of his legs are looking pretty good. Now, let me just... Lemon is no good to lemon. Well, we're just talking about that. Gold is... I'm going to activate this first and see how it goes. I do want to have a bit of colour on this fur on his tummy tom and the inside of his legs. Again, I like to take away the white of the paper. That might be pale enough to put down in like a tiny quantity, we'll see. The algorithm seriously needs work, sounds like it. No, I mean, mine's generally not too bad. I have noticed there is an odd week here and there, and it's just like there's nothing available, like there's loads of stuff missing, and it really annoys me because if I go down into my local town, which has a very small Tesco, those items are there. So why can they not give me it from a whopping great big store that's like that serves Edinburgh? I don't understand. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's concentrate a wee bit more on his face here. Again, under the hat there, that's going to be pretty dark. I kind of almost want to bring in the already in my mind, I know what colour I'm going for, but like a tan colour, just for like more shadow. I don't want this to get too orangey yellowy because I don't want him to go into like tiger territory. I've got willow here. This might be a wee bit dangerous before we've activated this. I should have maybe kept this till after, but I feel like under his hat there should be there should be a little bit of something going on there. And again, maybe just under here. I kind of want to get that contour of like his jaw, just so that it's not like melting into his neck. So maybe if I bring a little bit of this up round. Now, see, if I was any sort of person, I'd look up some reference images. Clearly not that person. Let's see. I want to take my weenie water brush hasn't been it really hasn't been playing ball recently. I don't know whether it's blocked or whatever, but I've really been having issues with it. It does this and then it just doesn't it gives you nothing. So yeah, I'd love to hear what if any of you are working on something just now apart from actual work, because obviously if you're at actual work you're not really here. But if you're doing anything creative or arty-farty, I would love to hear about it today. I'm really enjoying the fact that we've just gone on a wee whim here. I kind of like that. It makes me happy. So I just want to go a wee bit at a time here. I'm not going to go crazy. Because I might want to tweak things a wee bit before I actually start getting the water down. Like with animals, especially quadrupeds, I'm very aware of where the natural light patches and dark patches are, unless they've got like a specific coat characteristic or colour. So there's always a paler part above the eyebrows, that kind of thing. So I'm really enjoying just going like by the seat of my pants here, because I kinda know what I'm doing, so I'm not really going by the seat of my pants, but you know what I mean. This is really nice. It's most enjoyable. I do want him to be quite vibrant as well. We'll get this little bit under his mouth there. There we go. See, we'll get his wee under chin bit. We'll get that separately. We'll get a wee bit of colour in that, I think. Oh, Maxie's sculpting one of her fairy doors. Yay! I absolutely love the pictures that you shared with us, Maxie. They were amazing. Creating today's watercolour month. Yeah, the cardboard, I saw that earlier. In a steampunk theme, so far we have Thaddeus Gearsmith and his niece and nephew making a contraption. Dalek Widow is doing some Doctor Who fan art. Username checks out. In one of the See What I Brighten sketchbooks. Yay! Good. I'll love to hear that. Good stuff. See, worthwhile getting stuff from the stash shop. You're a perfect walking ad. You swan in, we haven't seen you for ages, and you're just a perfect advert for us here. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying them though. I say I wouldn't stock things if it's not things that I had faith in. There is a difference between a good quality art supply and something that you really love. I am perfectly capable, and I think it must be years of scroller box unboxings, honestly. I can tell when something's a quality product, even though it might not be something that I use myself, and something that's just a gimmick, again, regardless of whether I would use it myself, or also something that's just absolute crap, because unfortunately there's a lot of that about as well. Speaking of which, and not to you know, poo-poo anything, the supplier that I've found for the polychromos, they stock Hemi products, and I'm like, how can you have Faber-Castell and Hemi under the same roof? And I know some people really love the Hemi gouache. Yeah, no, I'm like, because when you go in and you join, especially when you have to open accounts with these big companies, you always have a look to see if there's anything else. You think, oh well, if I can get that from them, what else can I get from? Like, what would I have in the shop? And when they have new product lines and things introduced, you know, naturally you're like, oh, what else can I have? And then you're like, well, even if I don't stock it in the shop, do I want to try it myself? And I saw the Hemi stuff and I was like, oh. They do carry the more or less the entire range of Faber-Castell products though, which includes the kids' art supplies, you know, so the pencils in the red packaging. I don't know if they still call them the Faber-Castell Classics. They also carry all the Goldfaber stuff as well, the watercolour pencils, which are pretty good. So that might be quite interesting to get some of that stuff in. I really like their mixed media paper, like just in an A5 pad. That's great to have as like a test pad for things. And I think the one I've got's got a couple of pages left in it, but I was like, I don't know how, it's something that I would use, but is it something that everyone else would want? You know. Art at Jules is using a Beechmore sketchbook. You like it for coloured pencils and ink, not so sure on the watercolours. It's okay as long as you don't do 2 wet washes. Yeah. I just put in an order for the concertina one. Yeah. They're so much fun. That's my book of pasta one as well. It was a gift, so you needed to use it. You felt obligated. What a hardship having to use something. Oh no. Oh, he's looking like a handsome chappy already, isn't he? I like how this darker colours coming through. That was a good choice. Even if I do say so myself, the sienna gold. This is quite a nice pencil. I feel like I need more here though. There's something stuck to the paper there, but it's one of his spots. Good gem. I just want to get a little bit more pencil down here. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep, just from the experience that I've just had up there, the willow pencil that I'm using for kind of shadow areas, I'm going to put that on dry after I'm finished making everything kind of splodgy here. That feels like the better option at this point. That looks very yellowy though. And maybe some more Julia paints. That's something that I am. I've had some discussions with Julia because we've got quite a few colours that are out of stock now, and people are putting in like back in stock requests for them. I just need to manage the cash flow over the next sort of 2 months or so. Obviously, the Polychromos pencils, it's going to be a significant chunk of change, guys. But also the domain and shop fee is due, and it's paid yearly, and that's well into the hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So I need to get over that hurdle first, but after that we will restock to the Julia colours as well. So if you want to hold off, it's absolutely fine. We'll have a few. We'll have a few other colours coming over hopefully as well. Julia is still making paint, just at a much slower rate than she was before. Just she's kind of scaled down the shop a little bit for health and one thing and another. But we'll dig some fresh colours out of her. I'll make sure of it. She did send me. This will make you laugh. It was a slight detour here. So every now and then, Julia just sends me a random package with things in it. I don't know what I'm getting. There's usually Swedish food involved. Normally, well, I've kind of got Swedish favourites now. I've been enough times, and you know, yeah. So she sends me over the things that I like, and also the things that Mr. Jem likes. Like, she's so generous that way. In the last parcel, I received this, and I'm like. And I'm like, oh, look, it's a half pan, it's a half paint pan. And I took the lid off it. And it's basically like bubble gum. It doesn't really dry properly. And yeah. There's no label on it. I don't know what colour it is. But it's really pretty. So I obviously opened the parcel, took a picture of me eating the edible contents of the parcel. Don't eat the paint, obviously. And I messaged Julia and I said, can you please tell me like what colour this is? And she's like, yeah, it's kind of just like a mixture leftover paint. And she said, I can't sell it because it doesn't dry properly. So I thought you could have it. So I've basically got literal like bubble gum paint. It goes down fabulously, and when it's mixed with water, it does dry on the paper. So I have a custom bit of everything bubblegum pink colour. I haven't tried it out on anything, but this is the kind of stuff I love getting from Julia. Like, it's good fun. Yeah, that's why I love the Sea White sketchbooks. Like, yeah, they're good for everything. Considering the money that you pay for them, the paper holds up really, really well. Europa's designing a character for a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Her fiance is setting up for our group, loosely based on wrestling, an event called Dragon Slam. A 3.5 foot kite. Oh, yeah, yes, we need to see this. Hi Ulrika, how you doing? I hope you're good. I wondered if you were gonna pop in today. Excellent. I was just discussing this paint that's not really a paint that I got from Julia. It's basically the reject bin paint, and it's like bubblegum. It doesn't dry, but still functions as a watercolour. I might have to find a use for that. Has anybody got a suggestion? What can we paint that's bubblegum pink that we could use it for? I actually don't. I may set one up and post it in future though. I'll let you know as soon as I do. Europa, do you use Discord? Because you could always join our Discord and share it in there if you didn't want it out to the wider public, as it were. The wider public. Fine, thanks. Just been rescuing a dragonfly from your conservatory. Jill's udders, obviously. Will we do a watercolour Mildred with it? Would you like that? That might be an idea. Like, just a standalone, like, watercolour of Mildred. That might be fun. Have we done Mildred in watercolour? I've done her in gouache and I've done her in pencil multiple times. I don't think I've done her in watercolour. Oh, there we go. There's another little thing to add to the list. And this is why I love Work in Progress Wednesdays. I'm going to zoom out a little bit again. I'm not enjoying having to like slide this up and down, but I wanted you to see the detail in what I was doing. You're more than welcome. The Discord it's protected. We don't just let anyone come in willy-nilly. Like, you have to contact either myself or Thea to be invited in. I think there's about 30, Theo, correct me if I'm wrong. There's about 30 members, I think, but we've got lots of different threads for different things. Like, obviously there's art stuff, but we've got kind of like a general discussion area, and it's usually me talking about boring things about running or the weather. We like to talk about that too, but we do have a specific area where we can share artwork with each other, but it's only the people obviously in the Discord that can see it. So if that's something you're interested in, you can drop me an email or yeah, But I'll stick my email address in the chat in case you want to do that. It's quite a lively little Discord. We've got 28, there we go. 28, 29 including me, or 29 including you, Thea, I think. Yeah, so it's a nice size that it's, you know, every time you go in, there's usually something there somewhere. You know, someone's chatting about something. We've got some quite interesting subject matter as well. We have a separate section for Lego and gaming, which are together weirdly, but that kind of works. So yeah, feel free if that's something you want to do. 29 because you have your testing account in there too. Okay, fair dues. But yes, you're more than welcome. Feel free to join us. It's on my to-do list. No problem at all. You're welcome anytime. Oh, look at his little feeties. That's the little feeties. Again, tend to be paler than other areas, but no, we'll not worry about it too much. So we're all about aesthetics here. That's kind of doing a job for me though. I'm quite happy with that. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry. Right, the burning question, which I know you're all desperate to answer. What colour is Charlie's scarf? Answers in the chat, please. Don't worry, Thea, it's okay. You're very efficient anyway. If it's a wee bit slower because of your dodgy thumb, that's fine. Yeah, the Discord is a safe space to share, absolutely. Thea and I pay very close attention to who is in there. And if it's someone even like gets a rogue idea of how to get in and there's anything unsavoury, we soon deal with it. We've had no problems with anything like that though. And most of the people that are in the Discord are people that you see here in Work in Progress Wednesday, plus a few others that aren't able to join us on a Wednesday. It's a very regular crew. White cream as a gentleman should be red, burgundy red, light purple, royal purple. Oh, I can see we're going in a direction here. Is there an invite to Discord somewhere? Hi, Anne Nash. Are you Anna Ash or are you Anne Nash? Either way, no, there is. If you email me, I've just put my email up in the chat, and we can invite you. We try to keep it quite close to keep us safe and a nice space to share things, and it is a very nice place to be. Well, hello and welcome. It's really difficult to tell with these usernames now. I wish YouTube would put it back to the way it was, because I'm like, who the hell is this person with all these numbers after their name? And they're like, hi, it's me. And I'm like, oh, hi, you. Nice to have you, Anne. As I say, yeah, if you want to drop me an email, and if you just go, like, if you go back up in the chat a little bit, I've put my email address in there and we'll send you an invite. And here's Martine. Hello, Martine. How are you? I hope you are good. Royal blue. Okay, so we're on that side of the colour wheel. So we're purple into blue into red. So I'm not sure. Well, if we're gonna have some greens around here, we've got this cushion on the seat to do as well. So maybe. I don't know, and this is going to be brown, obviously. The one thing I will point out, though, is I have a tendency, see with things that are heavily hatched and that are supposed to be like depicted as black, bearing in mind that this was never meant to be a colouring book, I tend to go in with like a dark blue, like an indigo blue or a Payne's grey. So maybe we should go with more of a bluish colour, perhaps. Martine's too warm. I wish it was too warm here. We're back to what we were before. It was like, yeah, it's like 18 degrees. It's overcast. It's not that exciting. Actually sick of listening to everyone going, oh, it's so warm. I'm in whatever in the south of England and it's like 30 odd degrees. I'm like, well, clap, good for you. Would there not be a lot of blue for the glass? Well, I'm not going to touch the glass, but that's a really good point. Like, this is actually blue. Again, it looks really washed out here. So maybe not blue. And maybe let's go with like the burgundy stroke red thing. I kind of like that idea. We do actually have a colour called Bordeaux or something. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but there's definitely wine related red colours. That's chili red. I do actually need to take the time to sort out these pencils properly. If you remember, they brought out some extra Inktense colours. I literally haven't sorted them out since those came out. They just all kind of like float about like rebels inside of here. Oh, Shiraz, I beg your pardon, Shiraz. Not Bordeaux, Shiraz. It would be good if it matched Huxley's cushion. Oh, will we give them matching cushions? But his is blue. So no, we're not doing that. That was a great idea though, but Pam Mrs. Fife, no seriously Gem, it's awful trying to keep all the dogs. Oh, I can imagine, I can absolutely imagine. I would not wish it on anyone, and I'm just really glad. Like, it's bad, honestly, it's bad enough for me. Again, back to running, sorry, because I know most of you are not the slightest bit interested. I am very much a cool weather runner. I run great in like Arctic temperatures. The minute it gets even remotely warm, I'm rubbish. But even running at 18 degrees, humidity on top of that, the humidity is like 85% plus all the time, and it just absolutely ruins you. Like, it sucks the life out of you, so totally get that. Jan says, I just find it reminds me while I like living in the Vale of York and not the south. Yeah. It seems to be the further south you go, the worse it gets. We've been really lucky, but even talking to Papa Jem, who's on the west coast, and he's slightly further south than we are over here, and they've had some horrific temperatures as well, and like we're just not seeing it. We've had one or two warm days, like, you know, you're like, oh god, it's hot out there, but not like, oh my god, I'm going to die hot, which is very different for me to the rest of the population of Scotland, again, because I'm more of a cold person. But yes. Could do a light blue for the windows in the background, then a purple for the scarf, which will go well with the browns and greens and yellows and blues. Good point, you know, Pat. I'm not touching these window panes. They are actually blue. It's just the light. It's like a really pale, like washed out indigo type colour, so I'm not going to do anything else to them. I feel it would be nice to add like a little bit of texture to the panes, but there's so many of them, and I feel it would detract from our dashing chap here in the front. So I'm like, executive decision, like, not to touch them. But I do think maybe a purple for the scarf. I think do you know what? I think you're right. I think that's a good shout. Let's see what we've got. I might have to do a wee bit of scribbling out here to see what's what. Let me just grab some paper. For once in my life, I don't have any random scrap paper actually kicking about on my desk, which is weird. Oh, right, we've got violet and deep violet. Maybe that kind of colour. If only you could run to a pub. Well, I could. I could absolutely run to a pub. The problem with that is the run to the pub is spectacular. It's only about 2.5 miles, which is an absolute drop in the bucket for me these days, which is a lovely thing to be able to say. And the reason that it's an absolutely fabulous run is because it's completely downhill. The problem is the running back. Nobody would want me sitting next to them in the pub after having run for 2.5 miles, because I'm going to smell really bad really quick. I am like a very proficient sweater. I sweat a lot. I would not subject anyone to that. That would be awful. Cal's saving up to retire to Scotland, and so you should. It's lovely here. Oh, this might be the one. I don't know what it is with this the violet pencil. It's almost as if it doesn't. Oh no, not the violet. It must be the deep violet. I think this is a bum pencil I've got, because it just doesn't lay down. Like, that's me pressing really hard, and look how pale it is compared to the regular violet. I think this is like a defective pencil. I really do, which is weird because I've clearly used a lot of it. Like, I have used it, but it's just not doing the doing for some reason. I mean, it still blends out okay though. You know, there's no issues there, but just the laydown feels like a really cheap, nasty pencil that you get from like the pound shop or something. And yet, look at that. Like, oh, so lovely. Yeah, I think this is my pencil though. we'll go with that. Sorry, I'm a bit behind. Not at all. Apparently we've got another heat wave coming. I hate the hot weather. Yeah, I don't mind it, but I'm not like, yay, sunshine and hot weather. Jan didn't offer to be in the pub and now definitely refused. Do you think the brand Sweaty Betty was based on you? It sounds scratchy as well. Did you hear that, Ulrika? Oh my goodness. Have you got headphones on? Do you want me to do it again? Versus. It does sound scratchy, doesn't it? You're absolutely right. Europa's like, ooh, purples. You do hear it. Interesting. Yeah, I might order another one just to see, because that, in the grand scheme of Derwent, who are generally, their stuff's really high quality, that this just ain't right. So that is the Deep Violet. I've got my wee post-it notes here. I'm just gonna make a note of that because I'll have completely forgotten about it by the end of the stream. Okay, Inktense. Deep Violet. My ears are teeny but mighty. Yeah, I think it might just be a duffer. I think you're right. Oh, Pam heard it on the phone. Okay, excellent. Proper ASMR vibes going on here. I did notice I watched back a tiny bit of the stream from last week, because I couldn't remember if I'd talked about the work in progress Wednesday thumbnail thing. And I was like, did I mention that? And then forgot I'd mentioned it, or did I not mention it? So I was watching that back. I realised though that I was looking for paint in one of the baskets to use, you know, for the fairy mug, and I was rattling them about like right here, and it was really, really loud, and it's because it's next to the microphone. See, when stuff like that happens, please tell me, guys, because there will be people that are sitting with headphones on. I don't want to deafen anyone. Please speak up. See anything like that, please, please, please say something. I found it quite jarring. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to deafen all the cavers. And it was obviously just that I was raking about for stuff, but I need to remember that anything that's in this vicinity, like see here, because the microphone is literally like right there, and it's quite sensitive, especially when it's turned up so that you're getting you know, my voice projected properly. I keep forgetting about it. Also, banging on the table is not good as well, because the mic is on the table, it's not mounted on a boom. It is actually sat on the table, so that amplifies things as well. You didn't find it too bad? Like, well, please, if anything like that, whether it's light or sound or anything like that, please, please, please tell me, because the last thing I want to be is annoying when we're doing stuff like this. Right, okay, anyway, we've settled on the I don't know why I'm waggling my willow pencil about. It's because I used that to write on the post-it note. Right, so we're going to go with the violet colour. I think that's going to be lovely. And I will use either a Payne's Grey or an indigo as a dry pencil to get the contours in this scarf, which we're going to do when I come back. I'm going to take a wee break just now. I do have time to roll on a little bit. We were kind of a wee bit late getting going. I don't have to be finished bang on 5 o'clock tonight. I've already had the harvest powwow with Mr. Jem about feeding people and all the rest of it. So Jules has just checked her violet and deep violet. They seem very similar in feel. Yeah, that's kind of, that tracks. I think I've just got a duffer, honestly. Definitely need to replace it. Right, guys, I'm going to take a wee break. Yeah, I think I do. I think it is just that one pencil. I'm going to take a wee break. I'm just going to go and check on Pip to see if she wants to go out. I think Doc's fine. He's more or less flat out on his side. I call it the dead dog position. So he's lying on his side, but all his legs are like straight out, and he looks very peaceful and very happy. So go and check on Miss Pippi, see how she's doing. Might relieve myself also, and I'll be back in just a wee jiffy. Okay, Ulrika is here, so you now have permission to talk about food, as is the tradition on the Wednesdays. And I'll catch you back up in just a little minute or two. Just a quick catch up on the chat here, all the food chat. Jan's having roasted veg, someone give you a courgette. Hello Jeanette, hello to everyone. I have only just found you. How has that happened? I just love your Scots accent. Where do you live? Well, thank you for joining us, Jeanette. I am based on the East Coast. I'm quite close to Edinburgh, like I can drive into Edinburgh, but I'm originally from the West Coast. So welcome. Everyone's very friendly here. I'm sure you'll get some pink udder hands from the other people in the chat. Lovely to have you. Very relaxed here on a Wednesday afternoon. Would love to hear where you're from if you would like to share. When I take a little break, when I have a little intermission, everyone always discusses what they're cooking for their next meal. For us in the UK, that would be dinner, like our evening meal. I always find it really interesting to come back from a break and find out what everyone's talking about. Cal's not in the mood for food, trying to get some replacement Arteza paints. Oh, good luck with that. On the 100, yeah, I find that the smaller sets are easier to get now, Cal, but they don't seem to have a lot of stock kicking about on the general interwebs. Jules's leftover katsu curry. Oh, I love a katsu curry. Or made a salad. A curry every time, like just made your decision for you. There you go. Ulrika's having a simple tea, bruschetta-ish, with fresh tomatoes and basil. Yeah, no garlic for you. Yes, we understand. Bruschetta, always a good shout. That was something I had last week. Mr. Jem and I went out for our anniversary meal. I had 2 pints of beer, and it was lovely. It was very, very good. But I had bruschetta and it was absolutely fantastic. But I came home honking a garlic that night. Oh, there we go. Pink udder hands for Jeanette. Welcome, Jeanette. No clue what I'm having for tea, but might have a microwave meal with tender... Love tender stem broccoli. Mr. Jem hates it. I love it. Oh, we've got someone else. Hello all, I'm also new here, been watching for a few videos, but first time I'm catching you live, but welcome, hi. Oh, we've got new people on a Wednesday, yeah. We always welcome the new people. This is a safe space. It's a happy little place on a Wednesday afternoon here. Lovely to see you. What do we call you? Do I call you Isa or Elizabeth? Or please let us know, because when it comes up in the chat, it's just the screen names now. And it's always nice to be able to call someone by an actual name, whether it's your real name or not. So yeah, okay. It's all the metallics now. Any good mid-range acrylic recommendations? Well, you know how I feel about that, Cal. I've talked about that a lot in the last Wednesday streams, but the Winsor & Newton ones they're bob on. They're really cheap, and they do a good job. You currently live in Norfolk. Oh, our favourite place in the world is Scotland. Perthshire is where hubby went to school. Excellent. Well, I used to stay in Angus, so next door. But now I'm in East Lothian now, so you'll know where that is too. Interestingly though as well, I spent a little bit of time in Cambridgeshire, but it was on the Norfolk border. I was really close to Downham Market, if you know where that is. I lived there for a year while Mr. Jem worked. It was like a set contract. He's a farmer, and we lived down there for a year, which was interesting. Have to say I much prefer being in Scotland. But there's some lovely spots down there, and the weather's significantly better than it is up here. Significantly better. Sweden! You do know that one of my closest friends is Swedish, and I'm trying to learn Swedish and be a good Swedish speaking person. I'm so excited for a Swedish person. Good luck with that. Åsa? Our favourite place on the West Coast, this is back to Jeanette. Well, this is so exciting. We're with new people, this is exciting. Our favourite place on the West Coast is Sana, and on the East Coast, maybe just north of Dunbar. Well, that's really close to me, so yay. If you ever want to use my real name, it's Fiona. Well, I knew that, Dalek. But again, you know, I'm very careful of people's privacy, and I respect everyone's privacy. And although I may know you from you know, streams or shop orders, whatever, it's not that, you know, we've got GDPR to stick to, so I'm very careful with that. You're fine with me calling you Dalek, though, aren't you? The basil is from the garden. The tomatoes aren't ripe yet. I've almost got ripe courgettes, though. Looking forward to those. Okay, Jeanette knows Downham Market. Yeah, I stayed not far from Downham Market. Oh, that's so cool. Like, this is so weird. Like, there's new people in, and they're like, I've been all the places. Mr. Jem and I moved around a lot when we first got together. So although Jock's shifting his bed position, he's now in the plastic bed over here. Good boy. Are you happy? Yeah, we moved around a lot. Mr. Jem used to be like a fixer of farms, but we were both fresh out of university, but as mature students. So we had farming experience prior to going to university, like both of us did, and that was one of the things that kind of brought us together. But we moved about a lot, so we've moved about lots of places in Scotland. Mr. Jem is originally from Lancashire, but he has family in Scotland, so that's how him and I ended up crossing paths. It's complicated, but we did do a stint down south as well. So yeah, we're almost like nomads for a little while, but we're much more settled now. All the places in Scotland that I've visited and lived in, I much prefer the East Coast to the West Coast, and it's mostly to do with the weather, honestly. Much happier over here, but interestingly, Papa Jem, so my dad, he grew up on the East Coast and only moved to the West Coast when he was a bit older, which is where he met Mama Jem, and you know, everything kind of went from there. We settled here because it is so flat. I have really bad health issues and need to be... And you know, that was one of my first comments. The first time Mr. Jem took me down, obviously Cambridgeshire as well, is extremely flat. And it was one of the first things I commented on. I was like, wow, it's so flat. Obviously, I'm used to hills and mountains and all these sorts of things, and that really struck me. And it was like, as far as the eye can see, there's like no topography at all. It's just, it's basically like being in Belgium or Holland. There's just nothing. I noticed that straight away. That's interesting, but I can see why that's really helpful for you. Good choice. I like it. Dalek's fine too. Okay, thank you. Silly, really is. Our hearts are in Scotland. We are coming up to the tattoo in 3 weeks. We have never been. Oh, good luck with that. I have a friend. So this is one of the people. Some of you you heard me talking about friends that we went to a wedding to with recently. They still stay up in Angus, and obviously we're down here now. But my friend had said that she's got time off in August, and she would get the train to Edinburgh, and that is really easy for me to get the train into Edinburgh, and we would meet in Edinburgh. But I realised it's during the tattoo and the Fringe Festival, and I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. I'm not doing it. The place is absolute chaos. And I don't like busy places, and I don't like people, so that's not going to go well. But yes, absolutely, Jeanette, you know, most people that visit Scotland, as long as they get good weather, most people do tend to have a good time. Mirrie's definitely a West Coast girlie. Mallaig would be my other home if I didn't. Okay. And the practicalities of it aren't great though, that's the thing. And Cal's in Wales, so she's technically a West Coast girl just a bit further down. Everything has hills. Well, that's I always say that in my proper job, I spend a lot of time speaking to farmers in Wales, and the weather and everything is extremely similar to the west coast of Scotland for obvious reasons. You know, you're just like a bit further down, but when you look at the scenery and you travel about in Wales, it's so similar. It really is. Okay, Martine, lovely. Martine's Scottish, everyone. I just wanted to show you this, guys, before I go back to the artwork stuff. When I said Jock was very peaceful earlier, he's moved now, but that was him just absolutely out cold. So this little trolley here, this is like part of the packing station for the cave. So the stock is all on these shelves here, and I have this little trolley, and it's literally just like envelopes and like packing tape and the little inserts in the paper clips and things that I put inside all the shop orders, and it's on wheels, but I've normally got the brake on, and for some reason Jock likes to lean against it. I don't know whether he feels comfort in just having something to lie against. Uh, just but he's absolutely out cold here. He's now sleeping again. He's in a more of like a curled up cat position. But he's just like he's the best boy. He's so adorable, and like I'm so lucky to still have him. Like I really am. I feel he's just a happy wee bean, all things considered. I don't generally have a problem with people, just stupid people. Well, there's that. Jan says go to Scotland in January and live life dangerously. Jan came to visit. Well, she was coming up anyway, but her and I met up in January. The weather wasn't great, but we still had a good time. Jeanette camped all around Scotland for 3 weeks in a tent. Well, that was brave for your honeymoon. That is a choice, Jeanette. I'm impressed. It's all good fun. Yeah, we do love it. We do love it. I honestly, I wouldn't. People have often asked me because we've moved about a lot as well. You know, I'm not adverse to sort of shifting about. But honestly, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I'm very proud. I'm not a particularly patriotic person. Again, I've talked about this before. I've got Italian lineage, so I'm maybe not the most patriotic Scot. But I appreciate what we have, and I think we've got a wonderful wee country. And generally, as a people, there's always exceptions. You know, you get that anywhere you go. But we're generally we're really friendly, fun-loving people, and I enjoy that. I really do. Mary spent her honeymoon going around Scotland, but in a car, staying in B&Bs or with friends. How many other people have had their honeymoons in Scotland? Is this a thing? We like to be in Scotland for Christmas and New Year. Well, obviously New Year. I mean, that goes without saying. We're pros at New Year. Like that's our thing. That's our thing. Right, I'm gonna get going with this purple. Stop talking, Jem. I'm gonna get going with this violet pencil, not the deep violet, because we've established that it's a bum pencil. I just doing my usual here. I just want a layer down, and I want to activate that and let it dry, which shouldn't take too long. I mean, it's not outrageously warm here, but I mean, it's warm enough in the cave. Because I want to spend a bit of time. Again, I'll get like a really pointy point on it, and we'll put in some really nice contours. Always nice to do with like flowy fabric type things, and it doesn't matter whether it's in a colouring book or a not colouring book in this case, or whether it's in like a, you know, your own artwork. You can get quite a lot going on with that, but trying to keep to the flow of the item. So in this case, like the flow of the fabric, or if it was wood, you'd go with the grain of the wood. But let's keep it fairly light so that we can build it up with actual pencil. We've got this little bit down here as well, and then So naturally this part at the very bottom here, that's going to be much, much darker. We'll really go to town with stuff down there. Oh, so sweet, Jock. Mine have been flat like that all afternoon. It's not necessarily Jock's preferred sleeping position, but it's one of the ones, especially when it is a wee bit warm. As I say, it's not mega warm here just now, but it's on the warmer side, and that he kind of just sometimes he starts in like more of a curled up position and he ends up in the dead dog position. But he seems like, see just now, like he's so content. His skin's not bothering him today. He's had lots of medication today. And he's just peaceful, and it's lovely to see. Like I want him to be happy and comfortable. He's the best. He really is. He's the best boy. Cal remembers being in Braemar on a Shearings tour after the first night instead of a call out. Our group to go, they just make sheep noises. It's funny, the place that you mention, I always have to do it in the accent. Braemar. Not the way I speak. Don't know if anyone's seen the news. We had a dragon flying over the Clyde yesterday. Not Shearings, they took over the company I worked for and I got made redundant. Oh no. I love all your Scotland stories. This is amazing. Jules, my fondest memory of Scotland was Hogmanay. Needs tatties, haggis, whiskey. What more could a girl need? Although some of my memories are a wee bit hazy. Absolutely. If it's not hazy, you're not doing it right. Come on. We keep talking about work. We've been taken over by an international company, but the head office is like in the UK, but it's the local public holidays, and they cater to, you know, wherever it is you stay. And I was asked the question about working the 2nd of January, and I was like, you can pry that one out of my cold, dead hands. I am never giving up the 2nd of January. That is an institution and nothing will ever change. And I'm not a great one for taking like annual leave and things. I'm usually the person that's persuaded in like October to start taking holidays, because if I don't, I'm going to run out of time to take them. And normally what I do is just save most of them up and then take like the full of December off, because I love Christmas. Like, who has 2 thumbs and likes Christmas? This gal. That's me. I love the run up to Christmas. I love Christmas. And for us, that encompasses the weekend between Christmas and New Year as well. So I tend to keep it for that. But there was chat about me having to work like the 2nd of January just because of the way the days of the week fell. And I'm like, no, not happening. You can go away, forget about it. There's a reason it's a public holiday. I will never give that up. Never, ever. It's so good. It's difficult as well though to keep the traditions alive. One of the main Scottish Hogmanay traditions is first footing. So after the bell, so you think like way back, like back in the dark ages, after the bells, you would take a few things with you and you go first footing. And the idea is that you go and visit your neighbours and friends who are usually in the locality to you, and you would take something to drink and coal, of all things, to bring in the new year. And the first foot is the first person over your threshold into the new year. So essentially all it did was extend the drinking period from New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. But if you were the kind of people that would wait to be first footed, you would have food and things prepared. And there was traditional things that you would have for people to munch on. That's all kind of changed now. But basically, as long as there's alcohol and you are drinking whiskey at like 8 o'clock in the morning, because now we're a bit more polite about first footing. If someone's had a wild party and they've maybe shut it off at 2 o'clock in the morning and they haven't had a first footer and all the curtains are closed, you wait until a slightly more socially acceptable time and wait to see if they're up. And now obviously we have social media and loads of ways to contact people. So you can actually preempt a first footer now. But that was a big thing. And when I was growing up, our next door neighbours absolutely, like, bless them. They were an elderly pair, so it was a brother and sister. The lady was married and her husband died. Like, she was a widow for years, and her brother moved in with her. So when I was a little girl, they were like in their 70s and 80s. And they were very traditional with the first footing. But because I was small and my brother was small, they wouldn't come like after midnight, but they would come the next day. But they would turn up at the door at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we were up by that point. But they would come and like you were given whiskey. Obviously I wasn't given whiskey, I was a tiny little girl. But you could smell it all the way across the room. And you got wired into this whiskey, and they used to bring things out of the garden that you could put in your breakfast, like tomatoes or whatever, and they'd saved them up. Lots of leeks as well, especially at that time of year. And it was just a thing, and they'd maybe only stay for an hour. You would have something to eat, and you would have a wee nip or whatever, and off they would go, and they would go to the next house, kind of thing. And it ended up you had like this rotation of people, and everyone went to everyone else's houses. So it's really, really cool. Like, it's really good. It's a lot of fun, but you do have to have quite a tight knit community to do first footing properly. But see, with the advent of social media and stuff, it does make it a lot easier. And I know that people now will organise and say, like, we have WhatsApp groups with, maybe your neighbours or your street or whatever, and you can say, happy Hogmanay, feel free to come round. We've got food from this time to this time, and everyone can just go to one place, and basically you just start drinking again from the night before. And that's why we need the 2nd of January. It's very important. Down south, we all opened our doors and met in the middle of our street. Well, that's a happy medium if ever I've heard one. Love it. That's a good way to do it as well. Right, okay. I'm going to go back to Charlie's undercarriage. So I've got the gold pencil, so that's not to be confused with the sienna gold, because that's like the orangey colour. And I just wanted to have a little bit of something, so I'm just literally tickling these areas, not doing anything drastic. And I want to see how they turn up activated, and we can adjust the surrounding areas accordingly, which clearly we're going to have to do, because that looks a bit too close to the rest of the colours for my liking. We're not having any of that. So I'll now go back to the sienna that we're talking about, and I better leave that to dry actually, because I just want that sort of like a definitive line so that you can see that that part's really pale. Again, I say this all the time, just the light balance on the camera. It looks really pale there, but to the naked eye that's very yellow, like it's very similar to what's going on up here. So there's that. Could you please swatch and activate the Inktense Antique White? Mine is darkest. I was just taught, I don't know if you'd come into the stream at that point, but I've had that problem with the deep violet. On good paper it can be dissolved, but in colouring books it's hard to work. Oh, okay. I don't think I've got Antique White in the Inktense pencil. Let me just double check. Oh no, I do have it. I beg your pardon. Let's try it on mid-tone paper. Just give me one tiny little minute. We'd like to be of service to our cavers in the chat today. So I've got this is just the excuse me, this is the denim paint on paper from Clairefontaine. Mine is very smooth, very even. I'm sure you can see that fairly well. Again, white balance works in our favour for things like this. There's nothing going on there. I think you might have what we call a duff pencil, so one that doesn't work properly or something's wrong within the pencil. You might have one of those. And if I blend this out, you can see it's really smooth there. And that's me just pushing the pigment about. So I hope that helps. I think you might just need to replace it. On good paper it can be dissolved. Yeah, okay. No, it should blend. I do think it's just a bad pencil. Hi Polly, how are you? Nice to see you. I you missed the start of the stream. I'm back to Accidental Mermaid. Normally it's all purple. I've been doing a lot of running, and because it's the summertime, it's like bleached all the colour out. So you can see I'm very light turquoise at the front here. I am still extremely purple underneath, but it kind of works, so that's good. But thank you. Yeah, I did wash it this morning, and this is just natural consequences of not really doing anything with it. I did talk, see my like fringe parts or bangs, if that's what you want to call them. I do like curl them just so they sit like the rest of my hair. But generally, because I've got it pulled up tight, this part hangs like really straight. I don't this part here, like this is all natural. That's just what my hair does. But thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, yours is broken. No problem at all. I'm so excited because you're Swedish. Would you mind sharing with us where in Sweden you're from? And I wonder if you've heard of Julia K Art Studio, because that is the person that is my friend. She is a YouTuber and she makes her own handmade watercolor paint. I've been out a couple of times to visit her, and we talk quite regularly. We're quite firm friends, which is why I'm interested in Swedish. Also, running in Sweden is the best thing ever because I love trees. I've had really good times in Sweden. It's a really short flight from Scotland over to Gothenburg as well, Göteborg. And it's actually one of my favourite places to go. You got a full set of Inktense 3 days ago. You need to find a swatching chart. I tell you who will have one, Jeanette. If you go to Colour with Claire, she's got swatching charts for everything, and they're usually very good. Finally, you can practice your Swedish on the stream. I'm really rusty. I haven't been using it at all. It's terrible. It's lovely to see a YouTuber's face on the stream. Oh, thanks. A bit north of Gothenburg. Oh, so you're not far from Gothenburg either. That's awesome. Well, I would strongly suggest, Julia has, Julia. She's got a YouTube channel as well. She does a lot of arty stuff, mostly watercolor painting and like vlogs. She stays just outside of Borås, so quite rural, but she talks a lot about her surroundings and things. So you should check her out too. You like hers in the colour families, yeah. Quite a lot of people do. Now that's one of those like services that she provides free of charge. Colour with Claire is great for anything like that. Like she's the best. Obviously fellow UK YouTuber as well, so I'm like, solidarity, sister. And interestingly, Claire and I have got quite a lot in common. She has an Italian grandmother, so we have that link as well because my dad's Italian. And sometimes we cross paths, and I do try and like her stuff and all the rest of it. She's been around a long time, but her stuff's great. I love her style of videos as well because they're very informative, but still quite relaxed at the same time. And as you've obviously gathered, I am very much of the relaxed variety. Right, I'm going to go back in with this violet pencil, but I'm also going to grab one of my like really dark blues for contours and shadows here, and we're going to work a bit more on this scarf for a wee while. Just bear with me. See, unfortunately, all my Inktense pencils are completely out of sequence, which is quite unusual for me. But it's one of those things that's not really been a priority recently. I think I might go with the Payne's Grey, honestly, and it might dull down the colours a little bit, but I'm not adverse to that because it's going to make these lighter kind of yellowish colours pop out a little bit more. So yeah, right, let's start with the violet, and let's get... I'm going to give myself a nice pointy point as well. You found her. Oh, good. I have to say though, like all of our YouTube stuff, not that it's going to bother you, and I know this, most of our YouTube stuff's in English, it's not in Swedish. Horror, pencils out of sequence. I know it's very uncharacteristic for me, but that's the way it is. Hubby just asked me what we were talking about today. Scotland Memory says, there's no such thing as a wee hill in Scotland. Bloody Chaplain and his smokes nearly killed us. Ah, that's funny. He was on army training, exercise, and they ran out of smokes halfway. Well, I've told the story. There's a race down near Jedburgh, which is near the border, down into England on this side, and it's like a peaks race. And this was years ago, so this was before I piled on all the weight again. And I ran that race, and this is without a word of a lie. I got to like, I can't remember, it was so long ago. Anyway, I got to the top of the last peak, and I was absolutely, the phrase we use in Scotland is blowing out your arse. Like, I was absolutely dying, and I was a young woman at that time. I was in my early 20s, and I kind of stopped at the top, like just for a couple of seconds to catch my breath. And this wee old man, and I think that the running shoes and the singlet, or like the running vest he had on, was probably older than me. And he stopped at the top of that peak and he lit up a cigarette and smoked it, and then started running again. So he'd come up from behind, because obviously I'd got to the top first, and and then he just off he sailed, and he was off at like, like cantering pace. And he was I was just like totally shown up by this chain smoking man that stopped in the middle of a race to literally have a cigarette. And he was casually stood after the finish line, like chatting, because he knew everyone. He was obviously from the area, and he was just chatting away to everyone, quite the thing. And he finished that in like a substantially like respectable time, and I'm just like, am I adulting wrong here? Like, what's going on? It was absolutely outrageous. But the best thing about it was no one batted an eyelid. I'm standing there at the top trying to breathe like a normal human, and he's standing there like puffing away, quite the thing. And everyone's just like running past him, and I'm staring at him like he's got horns growing out his head. The most random experience of my running career ever. My oh goodness me, my violet's not sharpening very well. We're having issues here. I'm going to change sharpeners. Sometimes this just happens. I'm just going to revert to it if I can find it. So this is like my sketching pencil case, and I keep a sharpener in here, although I can't find it. I'm at the point where I might need to have a little bit of a clear out in here again. There it is. So this is the M&R, so Mobius and Rupert brass billet sharpener. And I like this because I can replace the blades on these, and I do it fairly frequently. I tend to use this for my graphite pencils, and you can tighten that blade with the tiny little screw. So it's just like a traditional sharpener, but that you can screw that down to tighten the blade depending on the depending on the diameter of the barrel of your pencil that you're using. And the Derwent pencils are, good grief, are a little bit chunkier than the standard ones. This lead is not doing well though. It's breaking repeatedly. I'm gonna have to poke this out with something. You know how I talked about those jewellery pliers? Really good for this. Right, let's try it again. Jock is such a sweetheart. He's proper sleeping. I hate to say it, but I was so much fitter when I smoked years ago. I've never had so many coughs and colds since I stopped. Well, it's interesting because up until, I mean, I started running again back in August, and I haven't run since I stopped smoking. I mean, I smoked for nearly 25 years. and this is the first time I've been a runner as a non-smoker. And honestly, I don't see much difference generally. But what I will say is, I notice now, like obviously we have lots of data now, like we can measure heart rate and blah blah blah, and I recover from exertion a lot quicker now than I did when I smoked. I don't think I'm running any faster or whatever. But also I've got the added complication that I'm still carrying a lot of weight. I'm carrying less weight than I was when I started back running, because I'm getting skinnier. But the recovery period, it's much more obvious. Even from when I was super fit, because when I used to run I smoked as well. That was when I was in my 20s and even into my 30s as well. Even though I was super fit, like I was running fast times and I was a healthy weight, but the recovery afterwards, especially my heart rate, like to go back down to like a resting heart rate, took ages, and it's going down quicker now in my 40s and being overweight than when I was super fit in my early 30s. So that's quite interesting. I think it's just a slow process, honestly, but I'm also very aware of the fact that there is damage that has been done that I can't undo, and it's time that might fix it and it might not fix it. But there's never a bad time to stop. That's and I'm very grateful now, and it's quite nice to be doing what I'm doing. Polly spent time outside of St Andrews. Again, that's another place I've lived in Scotland. I lived quite close to St Andrews at one point. Not condoning smoking. I had an aunt who was physically fit, walked a few miles each day, smoked 20 and had a drink every night, lived 104. Well, that was like my gran. My gran smoked from a very young age. She wasn't a heavy smoker though. So my gran was my mum's mum, so my Scottish grandmother. And she smoked well into her 70s. And then stopped because she decided it was the right time to stop. And she lived to almost 100. She was 98 when she died. Polly stopped 47 years ago. That's longer than I've been on the planet. That's amazing. Congratulations. Like, it's a big thing. I always say this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, hands down, hardest thing I've ever done. She'd have lived until she was 206 if she'd not smoked. Yes, very good, Jan. Right, I finally got something resembling a point. This is not what I wanted. This pencil is not cooperating, but we're in a place where it's manageable, so let's do it. Polly will be 75 next month. Well, that's so good. Like, it's so good. You have to have seen some benefits from stopping though. I'm sure your purse might have seen the benefits, or your wallet, if that's what you call it. There's no benefits to smoking. Also, I don't know about other places in the world, because other places that I've been, um cigarettes are so much cheaper than they are in the UK. Like, they're so expensive here, and it's something like I still look to see like how much they are, because when I stopped they were £11.21 exactly, a packet, and that was from my local shop. And someone told me recently that the brand that I used to smoke, they're something like 16 quid a packet now, and I'm like, pardon? Like, really? It's all gone on art supplies. Well, my problem was that when I stopped, what I did was, that was when I bought a big Lego set, and again, most of you know my Legos all up here. And what I did was I plonked it in the middle of the sunroom at the old cave. So that was like when you were looking at the camera, it was like adjacent to the cave. And every time I got a craving, I would go through and just add some bricks onto the build. But it was like thousands and thousands of bricks to finish whatever it was. And that worked really well for me. The problem with that was that I kept buying Lego sets because I really enjoyed it, and I found out it's almost expensive as smoking. I mean, my lungs like it better, but extremely expensive habit to buy Lego. So expensive. But I suppose it's just exchanging one vice for another. Jan gave up about 35 years ago and do not regret it at all. Hate the smell of it now. Well, I don't know. This is the question, Jeanette. I don't know. 2 packs a day, a few $1,000s per month. That is wild, isn't it? Like, that is wild. Absolutely wild. Interesting though, Jan was saying that she hates the smell of it. I've only been stopped. I quit in 2022, so not quite 4 years. And I will hold my hands up. I've had a few traumatic incidents, and I have picked up a cigarette, and I will still sneak a cigarette on Hogmanay. It seems like a great idea at the time, and it tastes terrible, but when I am out and about, see if I smell someone that's lit a cigarette, like freshly lit. And it's funny because Mama Jem said the same thing, because she used to smoke long before I was born. I actually really like the smell of fresh cigarette smoke. I don't like the smell of stale cigarette smoke, but I don't like smells, like chemically smells generally. But I actually really like it. I kind of walk behind a person and go... Interesting, Jules, because when I did smoke, I've never ever smoked in my own house ever. I've always smoked outside, and I got to a point, and Mr. Jem and I were together by that point as well, that we didn't smoke in our vehicles either. When I was younger, like much younger, when I was in my early 20s, I used to smoke in my car, because I stayed with my parents, and Papa Jem is like, he's so anti-smoking. He actually hated me. Like when I was a smoker, he hated me. So my first cigarette of the day was in the car on the way to work, because I wouldn't smoke. Obviously, I wouldn't smoke in my parents' house, but I wouldn't smoke outside their house either. So that was my first cigarette of the day. So, we got to a point. We bought a fairly new car, and it was probably the first time that we'd bought something together that was quite new. It had 16,000 miles on it. Like the vehicle had done nothing, and we just decided at that point, it's like, why would we waste this lovely new car and make it smell terrible? So we just stopped smoking in vehicles at that point, and that was like 2000 and, I want to say 15. So basically the only time I smoked was if I was at home, I would go outside and smoke in the garden. Or if I was walking the dogs, I would maybe take cigarettes with me and smoke then. And then eventually just stopped altogether. So Jeanette still likes the light up smell too. It's so funny, isn't it? Like, it's so weird. I love the smell of pipe smoke, and that, like, the only reason I have for it is Papa Jem had a friend who smoked a pipe, and he was the only person for ages that was allowed to smoke in our house apart from my grandpa, which was my mum's dad. He smoked cigarettes, and even when Papa Jem went to his friend's house, he would come back and I could smell the pipe smoke on him, and I loved the smell of it. He was such a wonderful man, and he was one of the first people that I visited in hospital as a small person, knowing that he was going to die. And we had such a lovely conversation. He never did anything like specific for me, but he was Dad's friend, and he was a really kind man. And I remember going to see him in hospital, and he said to me, see that smile that you've got, you can get anything you want with that smile. Don't ever stop smiling. And that's I can't even tell you what age I was. I'd have to ask Papa Jem, but I was pretty, I think I was maybe only like 6 or 7, and that has stuck with me like all these years. But I associate it with the pipe smoke as well. So I love the smell of pipe smoke, and I don't know anyone that smokes a pipe anymore. But I have nice, like, it conjures up nice thoughts for me. And I always knew when Dad came home, if he'd been to see his friend, I knew instantly that's where he'd been, because obviously everything smelled of it. I don't like cigar smoke though. Ugh. Cigar smoke is dirtier than cigarette smoke. 100%. Jill says it's part of why I love old books. You can smell the pipes. Yeah. I know, like stale cigarette smoke is like, it's the absolute pits. Like, why would you like that? Fresh and stale are two very different things. It's funny though as well. I was having this conversation not that long ago. See, in times of stress or duress, I find it really interesting because even now, my first thought in my head is how can I cope with this? And the first thing I think of is I'm going to go and buy some cigarettes, and that's been nearly 4 years. And as I say, there has been occasions, obviously, when Mama Jem passed away. You can understand that. It's weird how it's like a comfort thing, and like it's a coping mechanism. It's so strange. I'm very safe in the knowledge now, though, that it's not, it's not going to cause me to backslide or anything. Like, I'm well past that point. But I just find it really interesting that, knowing what we know about smoking in general, that's still the first thing that comes into my head. I have a friend who often said that they weren't a smoker at all. Like, as in, like, what I would call a proper smoker. They weren't a day-to-day smoker. But they liked to have a very odd cigarette if they were having a drink. So I'm talking like maybe once a month, something like that. But if there was any sort of crisis, that was the first thing. It was a packet of cigarettes. And that person's reasoning was they would rather smoke a pack of cigarettes than have an alcoholic drink, because the minute you have an alcoholic drink, you start to lose control of your reasoning and your faculties. So it was like a way to, like, it was like a coping mechanism that wouldn't affect your judgment, kind of thing, which I thought was quite an interesting take as well. It's funny how these things are different for everyone. I find it fascinating. But I avoided that for so long because I was terrified that I would just start smoking again, and it's something that I didn't want to do. But I'm well past that point now. But I do also find it interesting that if someone lights up a cigarette in the street, I'm like, oh, that smells fantastic. I know it's not going to be, if I was to lift that cigarette and smoke it, those two things are not the same things. Like, they taste absolutely disgusting. Like, and you're like, oh, why would you do that? When you're half cut at Hogmanay, that's a different thing. Like, it really is. Ah, jeez. Right, I want to get this very majestic scarf. I want to get this all watered out now. Okay. Got me bold bit there. We'll let that dry as well. Okay, I want to go back up to Charlie's body now, and as I say, I just want to kind of get the contrast in between. The under his chin seems okay, but this just looks really yellow compared to the rest of it, so I'm going to work around that now. Polly's final cigarette was on Halloween of 1979. I lit up a stale menthol cigarette. The package had been sitting open in her purse for 2 weeks. Oh, that sounds awful. They used to give you a smoke for stress and nerves back in the day, yeah. What happens at Hogmanay stays at Hogmanay. Well, yeah, pretty much. Less said about that, the better. But again, it's like it's almost like it doesn't count, and I don't feel any like I don't feel any like knock-on effects from it just for that reason. It's like, it's New Year. This is like its own special little Bermuda Triangle kind of thing. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's kind of enjoyable as well, though, because I mean, I've always been quite a rebellious person. Like, as a teenager, I was outrageous. So I don't know whether it like fuels my rebellious streak or not. But I'm also not going to beat myself up for it. Like, when Mama Jem passed away, Papa Jem, like, I actually thought he was going to kill me, because obviously at one point, like before she passed away, that I went and bought a packet of cigarettes and I smoked them, and I wasn't anywhere near him, and he sniffed me and he's like, "You've been smoking," and I'm like, "Yeah, what are you going to do about it?" I'm like, absolutely not up for discussion, like, suck it up. But that it literally just was a coping mechanism, and I got myself back to normal fairly quickly. I think it was like 2 days, and I'm like, right, I don't need this now. But I just find it really interesting that that's what I would reach for. You know, some people stop eating. Some people eat twice as much as they did before. Some people go and get really drunk. Some people go and like hide and barricade themselves in a room. I'm like, no, I'll just like top up the statistics for lung cancer. Like, I'll get a backpack of smokes and bankrupt myself in the process. Ah. Jan started smoking at 18 when she worked in a greenhouse, and it was to keep the flies off. It's so true though, and we used to use that all the time at harvest. Like, yeah, just light up a smoke. It means the midges will leave you alone. Thank goodness there was no social media. I am so grateful for that. See, as an elder millennial, apparently is what I'm called, or a zennial, so like, you know, the kind of cross bracket from Gen X to millennial. See, when I think about all the stupid, ridiculous, outrageous stuff I did as a youngster, I am so glad that none of that was documented. Oh my god. I think the world in general would have a very different perception of me, and also I might have been locked up by now. Yeah, there were some very questionable things went on when I was a whippersnapper. And I feel really sorry for the kids now. Like, I think about my nieces and my nephews a lot. They literally, like, they can't cut loose at any point because absolutely everything is documented now, and that makes me really, really sad. We've all made mistakes as teenagers, especially. It's part of growing up. It's part of what you do. Obviously, you don't want anything catastrophic or illegal, well, within reason. But to have the freedom to make those mistakes and potentially get away with them, we were so lucky in that sense. Like, we really, really were. And I find that, like, my nieces and nephews, and this is across the board between my family side and Mr. James' family side, the kids are really subdued a lot of the time, and they don't really cut loose. And part of it, not all of it, but part of it is fear of it being documented and someone putting it on the internet. And that to me is just like, it's so sad. Like, that makes me really, really sad. Like, you need to, when you're young, you're finding out who you are as a person, and you need to try and express yourself. And part of that is doing stupid things and learning from your mistakes. And I don't think the kids now get the same opportunity to do that as I had. I mean, I could tell you some ridiculous stories about when I was particularly a mid to older teenager, and you would be quite shocked, I would imagine. I was wild, like, I was proper wild. It turned out okay in the end. But yeah, just so glad that there wasn't CCTV. There was no social media. There was no camera phones. There was no smartphones. I mean, you might have an odd disposable camera, but the chances of catching any incriminating evidence and it actually developing and turning out as a clear photograph are very slim. So, and I'm forever grateful for that. I am very, very happy about that indeed. Thea wishes her cousin would keep her daughter off social media who's 12. That girl is posting things that's literal gold for a PDF. A PDF, as in a PD file. Yeah, I worry about stuff like that too. Like, I really do. I really, really do. Ulrika says at least there are no tobacco enema kits along the River Thames. That health claim was disproved. That's just horrific. Let's not talk about that. Hey. Cal says being born in 82 apparently makes me a millennial. I object and identify as an older person. Well, Cal, you're in the same category as me, so we're not technically millennials, but we're not Gen X either. We're zennials. We're like right in that middle part. We're in the crossover. And I notice it. I'm sure I've talked about this before as well. My next youngest sister-in-law is not that much younger than me, but I see a huge difference in like our principles and attitudes towards things. And it's not in like a right versus wrong way, but just the way we approach things is very, very different. And I see like I see the generational divide between the two of us. And she would absolutely agree, I think, if you asked her. But it's really obvious, and there's only like a handful of years between us. I very much identify with Gen X, especially in terms of like work ethic and stuff. And she absolutely does not. And again, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But we just have very different approaches and perspectives on things, and mine tend to align more with like the old school, well, the older school Gen X principles and viewpoint versus like the younger millennials. That's a part where I find, and also music as well, that's another one. But again, I was brought up on a diet of my dad and my older brother's music. Weirdly, my older brother is still technically classed as a millennial, but I would see him as more Gen X, but technically he's a Zennial as well. It's complicated. But yeah, anyway. So there's all that. So it's very complicated. Zennials unite. It really is. I find it a very obvious divide. It doesn't make any difference to me generally, because you know I'm just here out in the sticks doing my thing and living my life and being happy. But I do notice it, and it's quite a big divide. But only on certain subjects, though. Only on certain subjects. Jeanette was born in 1955, so qualifies old. So Jeanette, you are my mum, Mama Jem, passed away last year. She was born in 1952, so you're younger than my mama. So technically, Jeanette, you're a boomer. My cousin takes her 12-year-old to influencer meetings. Oh no. Mary's a 1970s baby, so doesn't give a monkeys. Yay! Oh, we've got another boomer baby as well. Polly's a boomer baby too. I always say that though, like I don't feel I don't know how to feel about it, but I definitely don't feel my age. But I'm very aware of the experiences and the sort of life lessons that I've learned up till this point. So I suppose technically I do feel my age. But in my head, I still feel like early 30s, which is probably like that was a really nice point in my life up until now. I was really happy at that stage in my life. I was very fit. I was happy in work. I was happy in my marriage and everything. Like everything was just really good all at the same time. And we were quite settled in where were living, because I said we moved about a lot. But I feel now like I'm in my 40s now, and for a while I did feel a lot older, but I've kind of regressed a bit, and I do like I still feel as if I'm in my early 30s, and it's really nice. I like it. And if anyone wants to think otherwise, that's fine. I do look in the mirror some mornings and I'm like, oh my god, you look every one of your 40 odd years. And other times I'm like, oh, look at Jem's looking quite fresh, like we're bobbing about, we're good, everything's fine. I just take it as it comes, honestly. Thea's hand's about 140. Ulrika's knees feel about 140, but her sense of humour is definitely more juvenile. No, I think I'm quite happy. I did go through a phase, and it was when I was my heaviest. Unsurprisingly, I was having a wee bit of an identity crisis, and I did think that I looked like older than what I actually was, and I realise now that I'm actually like I'm not young looking for my age by any stretch of the imagination, but given the life that the life of debauchery that I've led, I don't look too bad for early 40s. I don't look great for it. I definitely don't look young, but I have had no work done. Obviously, there's no Botox or anything here. This is me, and I actually really enjoy like see my little crow's feet crinkles and the bits around my ears as well. Like weirdly, they make me happy. I don't know if I'm strange for that, but they almost feel like kind of like merit marks for surviving this long. I wouldn't like it if I was totally wrinkly. I'm also very appreciative of the fact that considering I smoked for as long as I did, like my skin looks way better than it should for my age. Because I was quite a heavy smoker at one point. And I also drank an awful lot of alcohol as well. So I think I've gotten off really lightly. That is completely the wrong pencil. That's not helpful. This one. So I really think I've kind of dodged a bullet in that sense. So I'm very grateful and I feel very privileged for what I've got. But there is times, especially, see, if I have a night where I don't sleep very well, which is quite frequent for me, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, every line just shows every single year you've been alive. Like, oh God, you look terrible. Maxie's sister came to visit recently. She's 6 years younger than me and quite upset to find her hands look older than mine. Polly doesn't like all the new technology. Prefer landlines and answering machines. I could easily do without all the television streaming. You do like internet and YouTube though. Ah, see, so you actually do like technology. I agree with you. There's some aspects that are completely useless or pointless, and we could do without. But you've still embraced quite the fact that you're sitting here on a live stream and chatting away. That's kind of a testament to the fact that you've adapted to technology very well indeed, and you definitely fall into the same camp as not only Mama Jem, but my gran as well. So Mama Jem's mama, she got her first iPad at 90, got the internet to her house at 90, and she could FaceTime and Google things and send an email, and she posted on Facebook. Just trying to, I'm not being derogatory when I say this, but people of a generation, so you're of my mum's generation, and I love it when people of a certain age who weren't born into technology embrace it, and you have clearly done that. Whether you like it or not, you've done it. And Polly's like, I am old. Cal misses her mum answering the phone with her phone voice and then hearing it settle when she knew someone on the other end of the line. Well, Jules, I'm the same. Like, I did have a wee dabble with some digital art, but I spend so much time in front of a screen between my job and playing computer games. And it's one of the reasons why I've mostly stuck with traditional art, because it's a really nice escape from that. But I love the tactileness. What's the proper word for that? Like, I like the knobbly bobbly paper and the pointy points, and that really appeals to me, because I do spend a lot of time in front of a screen. Like, I really appreciate it, and I don't think I'll ever stop doing it, honestly. I feel like there needs to be that, because this is like his belly, like the way he's sitting, that's his rib cage there, like his midsection. But it's in shadow, so I feel like it should be a little bit darker. I want to put some more contours on his paws as well, although they're pale. The position that he's in that sort of position. See, when I did that there, it made my elbow tweak. Elbows were still not firing on all cylinders. When I went to yoga the other night, there was one position, apart from toppling over, I was in like a kind of side plank position and my elbow just gave in. I just like, we call it cowped over, so I just kind of went, but yeah, elbow's not at full strength, but that my right side is my weak side anyway because I'm left-handed. But that was mildly amusing. There was also a part when we were rolling our necks and my neck made the loudest click, and it kind of made me like a little bit, and I was like, well, where did that come from? That's just from having big boobs, wearing a bra all the time and sitting at a desk. I was like, everything's okay, I'm fine. Like people look at you and I'm like, shh, sorry, it's supposed to be relaxing. Yes, so we're definitely, we're not there. We're nowhere near with the elbow. I cannot support my full weight and downward dog efficiently. Like I can't distribute my weight evenly between both hands. I am definitely favouring the left to protect my elbow and my right. But that's why we're going to yoga. We've got to build it back up. It's important. But my God, just like talk about like upset in a really zen moment. That's me. My bad. Okay, I think that's much better. You can see that the belly is pale. I've got a better definition between the two, and I can actually go back in with this gold pencil, which was the palest one, and pop a wee bit more of that in. Again, just so that to the naked eye it looks a bit less sort of like we've forgotten a bit and more like it's intentionally pale. Polly, many a time having to erase messages on the answering machine when mum was screening, and it would end up with, how do you turn this thing on? Oh, sorry, that was Cal that said that. Polly said, I more often than not walk out of the house without my phone, and that is fine. I like so not being available. Yeah, but, well, when I go on short runs, I don't take a phone with me because my phone's linked to my watch. Like, it'll bring up notifications on my watch. And I would say probably if you averaged it out, every other walk, I don't take my phone with me when I walk the dogs because I like to have that disconnect. I do like to have my phone with me though to take photographs because obviously where I am. I shared a wee video on the Discord of two deer that popped out in front of me. They are a daily occurrence for me. I see at least one or two every day. And it's only now that I realise that that's not normal for most people, so I thought I would share it. So it's nice to have your phone with you for those things. But I do like to sort of switch off for sure. My body goes snap, crackle and pop every morning. It used to be my breakfast. Right, I'm gonna I don't know whether I want more of a shadow. I might just go with the Payne's Gray. I might regret this. I hadn't really decided on a light source here. I don't know even if there is one. It seems to be frontal given that I've put dark patches like, so that would suggest the light's coming from here. But let's just get, I just want to kind of, I'm just kind of tweaking things now, honestly. But I want to leave this in a good place because this picture might not ever pop up again in terms of YouTube. I'll probably, because we've done this in the stream here today, I'll probably share the finished page on Instagram. I'm very, very bad at posting on Instagram. I need to get better at that. My bad. I honestly, like, apart from actually doing the YouTube stuff, I find social media quite tiring, honestly. Like, like it's a chore. And I need to be better at it. I really should be better at it. Right, in these creases here as well, like there should be more shadow there. I'm not really sure what's going on this side. That this part here feels to me like it doesn't actually belong there. Like the position, like the angle of it's as if the legs like turned in this way. So if this was his toes, this one's like sitting out like this, and this one's like all turned in that way. That's the only way I can make sense of that, but I'm not understanding that. It's like a third area there. So I don't really want to touch that because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing with it, honestly. And I want to make this a little bit darker in here as well. I'm bringing that up. Maybe through some of the, like, the hair contours there. Let's highlight some of those. Not to do anything drastic with them, but just to... Yeah, that's better. Useful being able to have a phone. I remember having to hobble to a phone box with bloodied knees, hands, elbows and face after falling face first down the hill. Well, that's the thing, like, see when I'm running, you know, quite a lot of people are like, oh, if you're out running, you should always have your phone with you so that if something happens, and I'm like, if I went out for a walk for half an hour, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't take my phone with me. What difference does it make if I'm running? But if I'm going over 10 kilometres, so just over 6 miles, that is the threshold for me where I wouldn't be able to crawl home. Even if you were out and back, 3 miles to crawl on your hands and feet's a lot. Whether that's getting run over, which is a high likelihood for me, or whether you're injured or sick or whatever. So like 10 kilometres is about my limit. If I'm running further than that, I have my phone with me, and it gives you an emergency alert. So there's a button on my watch that I can press twice, and it will send an SOS to whoever I've got it set up for. But there's also standard messages as well as I'm okay, just come and get me, or danger, danger, phone an ambulance. You know, like you can pick, and it's just like a little drop down that comes up, so you're only like clicking a couple of buttons. So as long as you're conscious, that'll work. But also I have an inactivity alert as well. So if I am stationary for more than, it's set at 8 minutes, I don't know, I need to change that, but if I don't move for 8 minutes when I've got my watch set to a run, it automatically sends a message to Mr. Jem to tell him that I haven't moved and this is the coordinates, this is my location, and it's just in case you like either like you faint or whatever. So but we do have safety measures in place, but I kind of like not having them on shorter runs, especially because I just want peace for a bit, honestly. The reverse charge call, yes. before the advent of the mobile phone, I used to use that as well. I'm not young enough to not remember that. Jeanette's asking if we've got a Discord. Yes. Yep, Jeanette, if you send me an email, also Anna, I don't know if you're still here, Anne. I did see your email. I will respond to you directly after the stream. I'm not sure if you're still lurking about here. Jeanette, if you send me an email, I will do the same for you too. And we will get you into the Discord. It's a very lovely, warm and cosy place. I've said this already because Anne had asked about it earlier. It's amazing how covered we can be these days, and yet people still go missing and can't be found for ages. Very, very true. I do think there's limits to it. I'm gonna call the colour in there. Let's just finish off with a wee quick chit chat, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, no, it's. I think there's a degree of like sort of responsibility and sensibleness that you need to apply, but I also think there is room to allow yourself to detach from technology. Before the advent of all this stuff, we managed, like, furthermore, I mean, horrendous things still happen, obviously, and sometimes it's freak accidents, but we can take time to disconnect and it's going to be okay. And that's why I choose very carefully, and I tend to use those shorter runs to take that opportunity to not be interrupted by notifications, or because you can imagine, like, running the cave, I get stuff from everywhere all the time, and it gets to the point where I'm like, oh, what now, so just turn the notifications off, don't take the phone. And it's an odd walk with the dogs here and there. It's like kind of half and half for me in that sense. Like, I like to have my phone with me for pictures and one thing and another, but I also like to go without my phone and just be and enjoy my time with my dogs and do the thing. So yeah, there's that. When Jan's fallen over, which is it's almost a hobby for Jan. When I've fallen over, I just walk home. Never thought to use my phone for anything. It depends on the severity of the falling over, though. The other day, when I did my time trial, that was like 2 weeks ago, and I was stood like, because there's no pavements here, obviously, because we're out in the sticks. So I'd stepped off the tarmac onto the grass verge, and there's like a stone dike into the field. So I had one arm on the stone dike, and I was leant over because I thought I was going to throw up. And the first thought to myself was, can I walk back to the house without throwing up again and without passing out? Because when I ran that route, I ran along the main road. I didn't normally, I run from the house and finish at the house, but because I wanted it all on tarmac, I was out on the main road, and I was like, yeah, I'm only a quarter of a mile from the house. It's like I'll be able to make it back, and if I can't make it back upright, I can stop and sit down on the verge, and I'll get back eventually. I was like, that's not a problem. But there are times, especially if you're much further out, and sometimes when you're running long distances, you kind of know you're in trouble and that it's not good, and you're like, oh. And if you like blow a knee out or twist an ankle or something, see to walk back 3 or 4 miles. It's not happening. Joe's at high risk of breaking things when you fall, but still manage stability. I need to make me some steampunk legs. Well, I have this paranoia now because of how easily I broke my elbow when I was on holiday. The sole reason that I broke it is because I had my phone in my hand, and I was like trying not to like get the phone smashed. See, if I just dropped the phone and put my hand down, I would have been okay. I might have like sprained my wrist or something, but I landed full force on my elbow because I was too busy trying to protect my phone. But it made me realise how easy it is to break something just by being at the wrong angle, and it made me really paranoid when I started back running after I got the the okay kind of thing. And it took me a while, honestly, and I'm kind of fearless with. I'm like, whatever, like if something happens, we'll deal with it when it happens. But it made me really paranoid, and I was really worried about it because I kind of thought to myself, all it takes for me is to trip and land anywhere on this elbow, and I could quite easily just break it again because that's obviously going to be a weak point now. And it took me a wee while to get over that, like it really did. So Polly's got 4 dogs. The youngest is a 9.5-month-old puppy, getting into all sorts of mischief. Easy to trip over as well. Please get your T-score checked. It's a DEXA scan similar to an X-ray. Is this for bone density? I've already been there. It wasn't called a T-score though. I don't know what they called it. My bone density's fine. It was just a weird like a weird anomaly. Funnily enough though, when I was on holiday, we met like random encounter. There was this group of like wee old ladies outside the hotel. Like they were well into their 70s. And by this point I was in a cast from my fingertips like up to my shoulder. And they were like, "Oh, what's happened?" So we were just telling them what happened. And one lady said, she's like, "You should really go and get your bone density checks because your chances of osteoporosis as a woman as you get older obviously get worse." And I was like, "Right, okay, thanks very much." But yeah, no, everything's fine. It was a really awkward fall, but also it was a really strange break as well, because normally when people break their elbow, it breaks that way, and mine split like a banana. Like it went. And it was literally because I landed like square on it. I couldn't have perfected that more if I'd actually tried. And that was why it was so awkward for healing purposes as well, because they're not like, normally that's not what happens. So because if normally when people land on their elbow, they tend to land like more that way or that way, but I landed like spot on, perfect, right on the button, like on the funny bone. And when I went for my first X-ray, they're like, "Oh, there's nothing there, like you're fine." But I didn't have the movement in my arm to twist it the way it should have been X-rayed. And the guy that did the first X-ray, which was a private X-ray, was like, "Oh no, I think you're okay, you're fine." But I had to take that to like the main hospital, or else my insurance wouldn't pay out. I mean, I took it to the main hospital, like, "No, you're going for a CT scan, we don't like this at all." And when they did that, they realised that it split like that way instead of that way. A very bizarre experience, and obviously in a hospital where English isn't the first language, and they like to inject most of the drugs into you through your buttocks, which was an experience, but they were great. The drugs were amazing. Like, no complaints there. Right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I actually quite enjoyed the little deviation to do something else. I am enjoying the fairy mug very much, but I didn't want things to get stale and kind of samey. And I know it is a work in progress, but I think a wee change of scenery today was pretty good. I'm going to go and investigate my Derwent pencil now. But also, I will sort out Anne and Jeanette for the Discord once I finished up here, and then I better go and check on the harvest status. Jock's absolutely fine. I don't need to check on him. I'll go and get going with my other things to be on with. So we'll get moving with stuff like that. So next, there will be a video or maybe 2 this week, depends on how harvest goes, not gonna lie to you. Definitely 1 video at least, and I'll put up the poll for the Friday live stream next week, and hopefully I might see some of you then. That would be quite nice, even if it's later on for those of you that are in different time zones. You're most welcome for the stream. Pink order hands to everyone. Thank you so much. And it's so nice to see some of our new additions today as well. It's always lovely to have new people in the stream. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves very much, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everyone. We'll see you back in the cave soon. Thank you.